Hey there, history students. This is Mrs. Gassinelli, and this is a quick review of what we covered in class today. So remember, I went over the difference between a primary, secondary, and tertiary source. Many of the databases that we start with today, we're going to be starting with the tertiary source, like an encyclopedia, but then also doing additional research looking for other primary sources. To access our library databases, we start at bit.ly/bsd research. And that will take you to this page right here that I highly recommend that you bookmark. These are all the different databases that the Beaverton School District has access to. And in the process of class today, I reminded you to click here on the passwords list and make a copy of this so that you will have it in the future for all the different passwords, depending on which database you're going to use. The one we're going to use, Global Issues, the password is Griffith. So then in class, what we spent the rest of the time is going into Global Issues and learning all the different features. When you first click on Global Issues, it's going to ask you the password, unless you already were in there today, which I was. You can see there's all these different current topics happening all around the world, and that's why this database is helpful when you're studying world issues. In class, we went and looked at the Browse issue that showed about 700 different topics that this database has information on, but we know that we can click on one of these, like the China Belt and Road Initiative, or we can just come up here and search for our topic up here. Either way will get us to one of the topics. But in class, we did look at the China Belt and Road Initiative, and the Gale database pulls this good background article for us, but then also provides you with all these other viewpoint articles and magazines and newspaper articles. So you will not have much, hard time finding other primary and secondary sources within all of this research. But what we spent the bulk of class today is learning all the features of the global issues, including the citation feature up here and how we want to be signed in to Google. How do we get a permanent link? It will show any highlights that we've done. So we spent class time also learning about the translate feature, the listen to feature where the computer will read the article to you. Okay, it will. And then we learned about how to do this highlighting. And because I'm logged in here, these are some of the highlights that as I'm skimming through the article, I'm finding other information that if I want to, I can add to the highlight and add some notes to it. At the bottom of the article is the full citation, the MLA citation that you will need for your annotated bibliography. And at the very bottom are related articles to your article. So if you are looking for additional primary and secondary sources, you might find it there. We spent some time after doing highlights and taking notes, then clicking on the Send to Google Drive. And what happened then is that it would send the article to our Google Drive here, where we could open up the document then and open it in Google Drive and actually go through. And now it's saved a copy of not only the article, but it saved a copy of all our highlights and our notes too at the end of the article. So this is super helpful when you're going back after you're doing your research. You can go back and see what your notes and your highlights from the different article. So we practice Also doing some research up here. So let's say you're going to do Hong Kong. Once you find your topic, you might have a research starter article like this one. You might have something that will be a tertiary source, but maybe you're going to want to get into something, maybe even change your research, Hong Kong protests. Um, Maybe more specifically to what you want to learn more about. Some of your viewpoint articles are going to be uh, opinion articles. They might be written by people who are involved in the protests in Hong Kong. So that would be a good primary source. If you already had a tertiary source, then I would skip on and maybe look for some other um, magazine articles or some newspaper articles. Don't forget to click on the full 113 magazine articles about the Hong Kong protests instead of just the first three. We spent the rest of the class time brainstorming keywords that would be good depending on which of the topics that you're choosing. Once again, we looked at the variety of different sources. We sent our articles to Google Drive. And then I encouraged you at the end is to make sure that once you get your initial tertiary source, to try different search terms, look at a variety of different sources, filter your results so that you get find sources for your group in primary and secondary sources. Once again, my name is Mrs. Casanelli. If you need any assistance, just let me know.